Part 1, Chapter 3, Section 19. Winning by Indirect Attack. We have so far given positions where the attacks were of the violent nature and directed against the king's position. Very often, however, in the middle game, attacks are made against a position or against pieces or even pawns. The winning of a pawn among good players of even strength often means the winning of the game. Hence, the study of such positions is of great importance. We give below two positions in which the attack aims at the gain of a mere pawn as a means of ultimately winning the game. Example 48. Black is a pawn behind and there is no violent direct attack against White's king. Black's pieces, however, are very well placed and free to act, and by coordinating the action of all his pieces, he is soon able not only to regain the pawn, but to obtain the better game. The student should carefully consider this position and the subsequent moves. It is a very good example of proper coordination in the management of forces. The game continues. Rook A8, A4. White's best move was B3, when would follow knight takes D2, queen takes D2, rook A3, and black would ultimately win the A pawn, always keeping a slight advantage in position. The text move makes matters easier. Knight takes D2, queen takes D2, queen C4, rook F D1, rook E B8. Black could have regained the pawn by playing bishop takes C3, but he sees that there is more to be had, and therefore increases the pressure against White's queenside. He now threatens, among other things, rook takes B2, queen E3, rook B4, threatening to win the exchange by bishop D4, queen G5, bishop D4 check, king H1, rook A B8. This threatens to win the knight and thus forces White to give up the exchange. Rook takes D4, queen takes D4, rook D1, queen C4. Now, black will recover his pawn. Example 49. An examination of this position will show that black's main weakness lies in the exposed position of his king, and in the fact that his queen's rook has not yet come into the game. Indeed, if it were black's move, we might conclude that he would have the better game on account of having 3 pawns to 2 on the queen side, and his bishop commanding the long diagonal. It is, however, White's move, and he has 2 courses to choose from. The obvious move, bishop C4, might be good enough since after rook A D8, B4 would make it difficult for black. But there is another move which completely upsets black's position and wins a pawn, besides obtaining the better position. The move is knight D4. The game continues as follows. Knight D4, C takes D4, rook takes C6, knight B4. There is nothing better, as White threatened bishop C4. Bishop C4 check, king H8, rook E6, D3, rook takes D3, and White, with the better position, is a pawn ahead. These positions have been given with the idea of acquainting the student with different types of combinations. I hope they will also help to develop his imagination, a very necessary quality in a good player. The student should note in all these middle game positions that, once the opportunity is offered, all the pieces are thrown into action when necessary, and that all the pieces smoothly coordinate their action with machine-like precision. That, at least, is what the ideal middle game play should be, if it is not so altogether in these examples.